hope you had a nice sleep. Today we are going to continue talking. We're going to talk about the first two economic system. Okay. Oh my God, Andres Puerta is here. Hold on. Andres Puerta. Okay. We're gonna, as I said, gonna talk about these two economic systems. It's the introduction to an economic system. Okay, that's the topic. Fabian Arauz. Fabian. Here it is. Okay. Only two left. Okay, before I begin the class, I'm gonna show you here in your platform, you have already some assignments, guys. Remember the topic, remember we're starting the second term, the second trimester. So you have to fold in your notebook, fold a page in order to separate the first and second term, and right on top, the first page right on top. This is the title, Introduction to Economic Systems. We're going to study three economic systems. So this is the title, Introduction to Economic Systems. And after that, you have to complete the vocabulary. This is gonna be vocabulary number 1. Here. Vocabulary number 1, guys, okay? So the vocabulary number 1, I know you don't have a book. Over here is the documents. Over here, this is the PDF document. So you have to download it or just open it and then get all there are 4 vocabulary words, okay? And the meanings are also there, so don't worry, okay? So, and also you have to complete some assessments. I don't want you to complete it for tomorrow, but eventually you have to do it. Anyway, you have over here your assignment to do. In your assessment, you need to complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 questions. Those are the questions, okay? They are very easy questions, very simple, easy, common sense questions. So they are very easy to answer, okay? And also the PowerPoint that we're going to use is also here. I loaded up already. So you have everything in hand, okay? You don't need to look any other place, guys, okay? So let's begin the class. Oh my God, I didn't open the PowerPoint. Where is it? Economic tools, no, this one, this is the PowerPoint. I missed that. It's gonna take some seconds, yes, in order to open. Usually it takes some time. Okay, it's opening. The only one who's missing here is Mr. Christopher. Not here. What? I don't know. So, introduction of economic system. This is the topic. As you watched last week, there are more than 3. There are like 5 or 4 economic system, but we are only to focus on these 3 basic economic system. Okay, this is the title, Introduction to Economic System. The objectives of this chapter are here in front of your screen. Identify the 3 main types of economic systems, understand how a traditional economic operates, including its advantages and disadvantages, and analyze how modern forces are changing traditional economies, okay? These are the words that you need to have in your vocabulary: economic system, traditional economic, command, and market economy, okay? Very easy, and those answers are already in those PDF that I loaded up in your platform. Now, what is an economic system? It says an economic system is the way a society, uses its scarce resource. Remember, los recursos son escasos. So, de la manera como ellos lo manejen, ese va a ser el sistema en que se llamará, ya sea tradicional, command, or market economy. These are the 3 basic type of economies that we are going to use as economic systems, okay? Over here, there's a picture, this is an example of one of these 3, the tradition, the Inuits. The Inuits, they live at the north of Canada. It's like close to the poles, okay? So they only hunt what they need, and that's it. That is a traditional economy. was at the beginning of the world. That is the traditional economy. A traditional economy is an economic system in which families, clans, or tribes make economic decisions based on customs and beliefs that have been handed down from generation to generation. Example of that, if we go to the Amazon, we'll find a lot of tribes who follow this kind of economic systems. If we go to Africa, there's a lot of tribes also following the same pattern of system. And maybe in Australia, also there is another tribes, yeah, los aborígenes. They practice this kind of system, okay? Now, the only goal of this society is survive, definitely. Only to survive. They hunt, they do what they do only to survive. Everyone has a set of role in this task. Men often are hunters. Women tend to crops and raise children, and the youngest help with everyday chores while learning the skills they will need for their adults roles. Now over here there are only a couple, like 3 and 2 advantage and disadvantage of this traditional system, traditional economy, okay? There is a little, the first one, the advantage is there's a little to do uncertainty. There's no uncertainty, okay? So everybody knows what to do and everybody knows what roles had to play in this system. And the last one, life is generally stable, predictable, and continuous. Very boring. Everybody knows what to do every single day, okay? So that is an advantage because everybody knows what to do. Now, on the other hand, disadvantages, traditional economies tend to discourage new ideas and new way of doing things. So if you can bring any kind of idea in order to improve the way you are doing the the way things are being doing, so they're going to say, you know something, we have been doing this generation from generation to generation, so let's not change the way things are. So that's why he says they tend to discourage new ideas. So everything stays the same. And lack of progress, lower standard of living. Definitely. In those places, in those kind of systems, there's no Wi-Fi. There's no, what's the other thing that we watch every day? There's no Netflix. There's no cable. There's no chat. There's no nothing. There's no WhatsApp. There's nothing. But anyway, that's the way they live, okay? That in this traditional traditional system. Some of them, because I'm pretty sure some people over there in Chiriquí, in Los Nove, they have cell phone. I'm pretty sure they have cell phone. Or maybe these guys over here in La Cuna, they have cell phone. Now maybe they have cable. So it's not that hard. In this area, for instance, they don't follow a traditional economy the way it's supposed to be, okay? So let's move on and let's study the command economy. Now in this command economy, the government is the one who takes action. He's the one who decides what to do, how to do it, and who's going to get the benefit of these actions, okay? In the second type of economic system, command economy, the government decides what goods and services will be produced, how they will produce, and how they will be distributed. So they are the kings. They are the ones, they don't have to ask anybody what to do. They are the ones who are going to decide what to do. Examples of this are North Korea, Cuba, and also Russia, okay? In a command economy, government officials consider the resource and needs of the countries and allocate those resources according to their judgment. The wants of individual consumers are rarely considered. Now, example of this country, North Korea and Cuba, Russia, I could include Venezuela, and also maybe Nicaragua. They are practicing this kind of systems. Okay, North Korea, Cuba are current example of command economies. Before the collapse of communism in Europe, countries such as Soviet Union, Poland, and East Germany also were command economies. Now let's study the difference, advantage and disadvantage of these economies. The advantage of command economy can change direction drastically in a relatively short of time. Back in time, Russia, they used to be most of the economy was based only on the primary sector. They only produce any kind of crops. Now, in a few years, they decided to change everything, and now they are one of, well, not yet, but most of the economy is based on the second sector, industry. There's a lot of industry in Russia. Okay, so they changes from sector primary sector to secondary sector. So they did it very quickly. Okay. Now also another advantage is social programs. Social programs like health program, like education program, I don't know, social economic program, things like that. They usually have this type of program for the people in those countries. Okay, that's most of the time it works, but sometimes it doesn't work. For instance, I know that in Cuba, education, everybody has to go to school, and the government is the one who take care of education, and also about the health program for all people in Cuba. And I think these two programs work fairly well, I guess. But the thing is, when they are trying to provide food for the people, they give you like a coupon, something like that, and you need to go and try to collect it. But sometimes there's not enough items or goods in the store, so that is the problem, because it's a market. It's a market that the government is the one who controls the market. Okay, so that's a very that's a disadvantage. Now, it's part of this disadvantage. Not designed to meet the wants and some need of people. That's one disadvantage. Another is not incentive to work hard, right? Because maybe if you wanna do something extra, you're going to ask, okay, I wanna raise, but in this type of economic system, there's no raise. You have to work for your wage. So they are not going to raise your wage. That's your wage for the rest of your life, unless you leave that country and you go to another country or another place. So there's no incentive, okay? So requires large decision-making bureaucracy. In order to make decision, they need to go, for instance, you wanna make any kind of document transaction or any kind of, in the government, this in order to make, for instance, you want to ask permission for something, then this document needs to go through several people in order to, at the end, then there are several, this document goes to several people, basically. It's like here in Panama, if you want to ask, you want to make any kind of deal, then you go to this ministry, and then your document goes through different departments. Yeah. Solamente para justificar el salario de cada uno de those employees. Okay, so there's a lot of bureaucracy. Okay, now command economy. Command economy, we're going to discuss it tomorrow. Command economy. Now, in the meantime, I want to show you a couple of videos that talks and try to help us out to understand the command system over here. Let's watch it, guys.
We're going to be talking about a command economy. Now make sure to check out my other videos on the different types of economies, which will be on traditional, a mixed economy, a market economy, and there'll also be some on communism and capitalism and socialism. Now enough of the different other economies, we're talking about command today. So let's figure out what a command economy is and how it answers the three basic economic questions. Now, while watching the video, make sure to take out your guided notes. You can find them in the description below. I've created these notes to go along with the video to make sure that you understand all the important information. And when it comes to your test or quiz, you can just refer back to your notes instead of watching the video again. A command economy is when we have a central authority that is going to answer all of the economic questions. The government is normally what it takes the shape of. And this government will answer the what, the how, and for whom. They are in charge of everything. Individual businesses and individuals in the society have very little say of what's going on. Today, North Korea is probably the closest thing to a current day command, a true command economy. Now, communism will also fall partially under here, and we'll get to that another time when we get into capitalism, communism, and socialism. If you need to figure that out, check out those videos. But we're going to get into now what are some of the advantages to a command economy and what are some of the disadvantages. Now, like I just said, command economies answer the three basic economic questions with a central authority, normally taking the shape of the government. If you need more information on the economic questions, check out the video that I have on my channel. You can click the link on the top right now. But a command economy does have a bunch of advantages. It might not seem like it because you're being told what to do, but a command economy can actually change directions pretty fast. An example of it is the Soviet Union. They were able to go from a rural agricultural society to a leading industrial one in a relatively short period of time. Now, they did some things that are questionable, and we don't need to get into that right now, but as an economy goes, they moved pretty fast. Now, other advantages too is you don't have to worry about what you're going to do. You're kind of told. And there's a lot of public services that are offered for people at very little cost or to no cost. Now, there's a lot of disadvantages to this type of an economy, though. Now, one of the big ones is it stifles innovation and creativity. I mean, if you are getting told what to do at all times, why are you going to care? We start to see people lose incentives. People get pushed out of society. And while it can handle some bigger things and change pretty fast, it does an awful job at meeting the wants and needs of the individuals living in that country or society, wherever we're talking about, and it can't deal with the day-to-day issues. It has a very hard time grappling with those. And it also requires a huge bureaucracy that has to dictate and tell everyone what to do. And so it's very slow, especially again when it comes to these minor details. So there is some advantages to a command economy, but there's also a lot of disadvantages. And it's important to note both of them. We've seen societies throughout history that have used a command economy, and some are still using it today. And those are the main things that you need to know about a command economy. Make sure you understand how it answers the three basic economic questions, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages to it, and how the government works in this economy. That'll be really important for you to remember. Until next time, I'm Mr. Sin. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe and
Mr. Sin. We heard enough from you. Okay, now tomorrow we're going to discuss the traditional and also the market economy. That is for tomorrow, guys. Now, in the meantime, I need you to, it's like you have left like 7 minutes. So 7 minutes